Good afternoon. How are you, Dmitry Andreevich? Is the permafrost melting? It's changing. Is there a problem? It's probably not so acute that it's the main topic, but it requires a very serious attitude, attention, and serious scientific observation. Vladimir Vladimirovich, may I start with the indicators of socio-economic development? Of course.
Artyukhov.
Vladimir Vladimirovich, thank you for your special attitude towards all Arctic regions, Yamal in particular. The government is paying very close attention, and of course the results are visible. I tried to reflect the main economic indicators, GRP, industrial production, investments. Yamal, of course, occupies a special position due to the key sector of the economy, the oil and gas complex, forming, in fact, more than half of all macro indicators of the Arctic zone, and remarkable results in the social sphere thanks to this. One of the most important achievements that we are proud of is that last year we reached the third place in terms of fertility in the country. Chechnya ranks first, then Taiva. And that's where Yamal crept in. It seems that until recently, the northern region was far from such positions, and it always seemed that it was still a region for very difficult work. Nevertheless, the foundation that has been built over the years, over the decades, and of course our key enterprises here are a source of stability and predictability. Families are confidently moving towards new births. Every fourth family has many children. If I'm not mistaken, there seems to be an average of 1 in 10 in Russia. Schools? Mr. Putin, such a high birth rate makes us work better on social infrastructure. 25% of school children go to the second shift, right? Yes, and this problem remains. We are building 8 new schools, and about 6 more are undergoing major repairs. I think that as schools are introduced, some of them will be introduced in the next academic year, in another year, the problem will largely go away. A 3-fold increase in the number of large families. This is also a very good indicator for us. We will try to maintain conditions for the younger generation so that we can continue this trend. Various support measures to provide assistance to young families and through housing policy. There are substantial payments for families who need better housing conditions and special medical programs that also help young families confidently move towards new births. According to statistics on combating poverty, we have the best rates of unemployment in the country. In terms of average wages, we have also held leading positions with a number of Far Eastern regions for many years. In terms of support, Vladimir Vladimirovich, there are different programs for the birth. At previous meetings, I reported to you about pilot programs for the introduction of genetic research for expectant mothers. Today, it can be said that this has already become a standard, basic set of medical care. Every second expectant mother receives a genetic study, which is very important for us, given the geography of the region. Due to the long distance, sometimes there is no hospital within walking distance. Sometimes you need to send an ambulance, a special helicopter for this. Therefore, such remote research is always helpful. And an indicator that has always been singled out in a bad way before is infant mortality. We managed to work very hard on it, and today it is even below the average Russian level, despite the geography of our region. Here, in the presentation is also shown a set of baby Yamal. More than 50 different elements are already included in this set. It recommends itself very well for future parents. Infant mortality has decreased 5.4 times since 2010. This is a good indicator. It has always been the sword of Damocles for us. Sometimes experts told us that you have such a region, such specifics. Until the helicopter arrives, you will always be among the laggards. We categorically disagreed with this. It is a difficult, very targeted work. Of course, there is a large concentration of medical specialists behind each statistic figure. But the result has already made itself felt over the years. In order to take care of people's health, we must, of course, pay special attention to the quality of drinking water. This is a regional problem, you know. Yes, it is primarily related to small towns, and in large cities, Of course, the situation has been largely resolved, given that there are dozens of small settlements in the region, and we are working. There are special programs. Modular but very modern sewage treatment plants are being created, which give the necessary result. I think the situation will be largely resolved in the coming years. The number of indigenous people of the north is growing.
They have large families mostly, right?
Thank God, every second family has many children. In general, it seems to me that this trend is so unique in the world, because everywhere, if we take North America and other regions of the world's Arctic, as a rule, small nations disappear, are erased. This has historically happened, right up to the time that the reservation was created. Despite such an active industrial development, the number of indigenous peoples of the North is growing, including the number of families engaged in traditional farming. This is exactly such a harmony, the development, and at the same time the preservation of the culture of the small peoples of the North.
Vladimir Vladimirovich, we have set ourselves an ambitious task to create a better childhood territory, despite the very harsh climate. The main results, 30 new kindergartens, 17 schools, although more need to be built, as you correctly said, and sports facilities of various kinds. Large, significant sports facilities, and even small ski bases that bring sports closer to our residents. The development of aviation is shown here in the presentation. As you have repeatedly said, it is necessary not to fly through Moscow, but to fly directly between the regions. 37 flights are supported. Internal, yes? Internal. A wide variety of cities are connected by a network. Of course, considering that the North has always been built by the whole huge country, everyone has different routes, so grandmothers who are close in different cities live in different parts of the country. It is very important that people have the opportunity to communicate. At the Arctic Forum in Murmansk, I reported to you about the airport development project in the capital of the region. I want to thank the government. We are moving successfully. There are support measures that will be involved in this project. Hopefully, in 2028, as planned, we will open a new airport terminal. A little bit about the development of medicine. A new hospital was built in Novy Urengoy. In general, Mr. Putin, this year we celebrated the 50th anniversary of our gas capital, Novy Urengoy. I would like to convey to you special words of gratitude from all Northerners. We worked under a large government order. You supported it then, and an organizing committee was set up with all interested participants. And the city, in fact, was transformed as if it had been reborn. A very large number of new facilities have appeared. Companies are helping, Artyukhov. Companies are very helpful. I would like to thank Alexei Borisovich Miller separately. Gazprom, they have transformed and built a huge number of facilities related to their direct production activities, as well as, say, education. A wonderful training ground for professional education has appeared. We have many veterans who have not been to Novy Urengoy for a long time. As we drove through the streets, we honestly admitted that we didn't recognize the city. Everything has been updated so much. Good.